What is up, fellow summoners, and welcome to the channel today for another champ refresh video. I love doing these things. They never get a ton of views, but that's not really the point. I have a lot of fun putting them together, and now that officially I've gotten through all of the classes, I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go back now and pick up. And you know what? I've given so much grief to the Cosmic class, and it needs so much love, and I thought, you know what? Let's go back, let's pick somebody out of the Cosmic class, and we'll start there. And with the new TV series, The Inhumans, coming, I think it's next month sometime, maybe October, I don't know, it's soon. I thought, you know what, in the Cosmic class, we've got an Inhuman, we've got Blackbolt, that'll be a good tie-in, and Blackbolt needs some love. I've had him for a really long time, had him at 550 way back in the day when he was part of the Perfect Block Synergy team with Magneto and Cyclops, and ever since they nerfed that, he's still been at 550, but I just have never used him. So I thought, you know what? I like Blackbolt. Would love to show him some love. So why don't we start there? So that's what we're gonna do. If you're unfamiliar with these, with this series, this type of video that I put together, it's mostly just for fun. I don't actually anticipate Kabam making any of these changes. But again, it's kind of fun to speculate and to throw ideas around. So what we'll do is kind of walk through some of my ideas for the character. I'll do my best to explain them. Then at the end, if you have ideas in addition to that, comments, you're more than welcome to leave them. So as I do with all these videos, I go back, I try to do some research on the characters to get a better understanding of them, maybe find areas where you know, they've been underdeveloped in the game or haven't really been utilized in the game. And what I realized after just a little bit of reading is that there's so much more kind of energy control and manipulation and absorption. He has all of those abilities kind of wrapped up into him that we don't see necessarily on display in the game. The only real sense of energy control that you see is with his S1. He's got that little power beam from his forehead. But there's a lot more of that built into the character that I think I would like to bring up in my version here. Obviously, he's got the massive amounts of power in his speech, which we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But really want to focus more on the energy control and how he can manipulate that and turn that into his abilities and to make himself stronger. So for starters, I want to talk about his passive ability. Cosmic Awareness is what I'm going to call it. And every time that you parry, which the game calls a well-timed block, you are going to gain an energy manipulation buff. And this energy manipulation buff is going to act in one of two ways, depending upon whether you have class disadvantage. So if you're running up against Mystics, it's going to act one way. Or if you're going up against anybody else, it's going to act another way. So against Mystic classes, when you have class disadvantage, each one of these manipulation buffs, energy manipulation buffs, I should say, that you gain up to 5, you can stack them up to 5, and remember you gain these through parrying. Each stack gives you increased energy resistance, which is going to help you against Mystic characters. Then once you get up to 5 stacks, you are going to lose your class disadvantage. So you're going to gain the attack power that you lost. In addition, the enemy is going to lose the attack power that they gained. And that will stay there until, for some reason, you know, against a Mystic character like Doctor Strange, if they're able to nullify or remove one of your energy manipulations buff, again, you're going to have class disadvantage there until you gain it back with another parry. Then on the other side of that, when you're not fighting against Mystic classes, when you're parrying and you're building up these energy manipulation buffs, they are increasing your energy damage, which you'll use that through your specials and also with your heavy attack. So there's two different ways that energy manipulation is going to work based upon your class advantage or disadvantage. Now, moving over then, every time that an enemy uses a special and every time that you use a special, you are going to gain a cosmic charge, which we've seen cosmic charges before with Hyperion. It's kind of like it's a yellow buff. I can't even remember what's on it. Anyway, it's already in the game, so you can copy that right over. But these cosmic charges passively, so again, every time a special is being used, whether it's you or the enemy, you gain a cosmic charge, and each cosmic charge passively reduces power gain by 5%, and this can stack all the way up to 6. Now, we will use these cosmic charges further here. I will explain all of that, but just passively, as specials are being used, you're gaining these cosmic charges. These are not on any sort of a timer, and they are lowering power gain from the enemy by 5%, and that is all power across the board, whether it be through power buffs, Mystic Dispersion, attacking, being attacked, 5% per stack up to 6, so it's a total of 30%. Now, what you can do with these cosmic charges, it's going to fluctuate a little bit depending upon, you know, heavy attacks and all that. If you actually read into some of the comics, do some research, there is an ability that Blackbolt has to kind of focus all of this energy into one massive attack that has nothing to do with his speech, and it's called a Master Blow, which I know that sounds that sounds kind of ridiculous, but I'm gonna apply this Master Blow to his heavy attack. So what the heavy attack is going to do is it's going to convert all cosmic charges into additional energy damage per stack. So remember, there's also the energy manipulation buff if you're not going up against mystics. That is going to be increasing this Master Blow. Plus, all cosmic charges that you've built up are going to be increasing this as well. So the idea is you can either have a little bit of power control passively with the cosmic charges, or you can choose, depending upon who you're fighting or where you're at in the fight, to convert that over into kind of a very bursty, massive hit with this heavy attack. The S1, I think I want to keep the same. I would like to see the animation change because it's also being used by Vision, but I want to keep it basically some form of an energy beam with the S1, with still a chance to stun and still a chance to armor break. So that one's fairly straightforward. But again, remember, if you're going up against anybody outside of Mystics, your energy manipulation buffs are also going to be increasing the damage of that energy from that S1. The S1, if you stun, would also pair nicely with a heavy attack. So just imagine you've got your energy manipulation buffs to get the maximum amount of damage out of your S1. So you fire your S1, you gain a cosmic charge. So now that puts you, let's say, at 4, 5, or 6. You stun the enemy, you armor break the enemy. You can go right in, do a 5-hit combo, and if they're still stunned, be able to get off a heavy attack with a Master Blow, and then unleash again all of that cosmic energy on them. So those two things, between the heavy attack and the S1, I think pair well together for really strong kind of burst damage. Now the S2, stick with me here on the S2. Okay, so the S2, let's just scrap the S2 as we see it right now. I hate the S2 with the recoil damage, the chance to stun, all of that, just scrap it. Blackbolt is going to whisper and knock the enemy back, so that'll be the animation that we see. But it's going to have an additional effect if you have at least 2 cosmic charges. So if you have at least 2 cosmic charges, it's going to he's going to absorb those cosmic charges, and the very next energy-based attack that you do, you are going to receive 20% of that damage converted over into regeneration for yourself. So we use the S2, we're into the fight, we've got a couple of cosmic charges built up, we have at least 2. He's going to absorb 2 of those, then the next special attack that you do, or the next heavy attack that you do, you're going to convert 20% of that damage directly over into a regen for yourself. Now, if you use the S2 and you don't have 2 cosmic charges, so you have 0 or you have 1, you're not going to get the chance to regen, but you're going to gain right then and there 2 cosmic charges. So it's not like you're going to totally lose out. You are going to gain 2 cosmic charges. So that is the S2. Now moving over into the S3, I really wanted to stop and think about this one and give his special 3 some sort of interaction or ability that would make people actually want to use it. So what I've come up with is Blackbolt is going to shout. So we've moved from a whisper with the S2 into a shout with the S3. And stick with me here. You're going to pierce through the enemy and place a debuff on them called a Cosmic Burn. Essentially what this is a power burn. So you're going to burn per second 3% of the enemy's power. Now there's only 2 ways that the enemy is going to be able to remove this Cosmic Burn. They can either wait until their power is fully drained. So for instance, if you use the S3 and the enemy has under a bar of power, so they don't have a special to use, there's nothing that they can do about that. That thing is just going to tick away, do damage, and power burn them until they have no power, and then it will fall off. Or when you place this Cosmic Burn on them, if they decide to use a special, so an S1 or an S2, which they're not going to be able to use an S3 because you're power burning right away, If they decide to use an S1 or an S2, after the animation is done, they will be fully drained 100% of all of their remaining power. So the S3 is going to be a very strong ability to use. You're not going to be able to necessarily use it a lot because it does take a while to get to an S3. He doesn't have any increased power gain. But when you use the S3, at the very least, you're going to be able to keep yourself from pushing the enemy into an S3 themselves. It's going to completely power drain them. Or they're going to use a special and it's going to completely power drain them. So, you know, you've got kind of best case, I guess, on both sides. You've either got a bunch of damage you're going to do on one side and it's going to power drain them, or they're going to use a special and they're going to be power drained. Either way, there's a lot of control that is built into the S3. Now, finally, on to the Awakened ability, and I feel like this is a character that I want to have that's really strong unawakened, that their Awakened ability doesn't necessarily, it's not like it has to be there. It doesn't change necessarily the gameplay in a massive way. So his Awakened ability, I'm going to call Silence is a Virtue, but I don't want it to be like a super OP thing like I just said. I think what I want it to do is you'll start the fight with 2 Cosmic Charges. So you'll start the fight right away with 10% reduction to the enemy's power, because remember, each Cosmic Charge lowers enemy power gain by 5%, and then you can never fall below 2 Cosmic Charges. So even if you're using your special attack 2, that would normally absorb 2 Cosmic Charges to get the regen on your next energy-based attack. Even if you only have 2 of those and you use your special attack 2, it's not going to absorb those. You'll still get the effects of the regeneration, but you'll still also have those 2 Cosmic Charges as well. Again, I think that just adds a little bit to what makes him good, but doesn't push him too far into the OP category. I think my ultimate goal was in redoing Blackbolt was to bring a character to the Cosmic class that has a little bit more utility. Right now in the Cosmic class, there's very little utility. There's a lot of characters that are singularly focused on just being able to do a lot of damage. And while I do think that you can do that with Blackbolt, like for instance, you know, your energy manipulation buffs, they increase your energy damage. So if you want to build those up, 5-stack, you want to get all of your Cosmic Charges together, use your S1, possible stun, possible armor break, follow that up with a combo directly into a heavy attack Master Blow and unleash all those Cosmic Charges. You know, you can play that way and be very aggressive and do lots of focused damage in a small amount of time. Or you can slow play it and you can hang on to those Cosmic Charges. You can use those to lower the enemy power gain. You can use your S2 to get your regen back. You can use your S3 to power control. And you can kind of slow play the fight depending upon you know, who it is you're going against. So I think, like I said a second ago, I think the Cosmic class needs somebody with some utility. And I think these changes to Blackbolt would not only make him fun to play with, but I think it would actually bring a lot of usefulness into the Cosmic class as a whole. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this champ refresh video. I think it's one of my favorites that I've done. There was a lot of, I guess, like terms and buffs and things thrown around. I hope that I presented it in a clear way that was understandable. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any additions to that, would love to hear them. As always, I don't think that any of this information actually gets viewed by anybody at Kabam. But like I said at the beginning, I do these because I enjoy them. I have a lot of fun putting them together. So definitely let me know if you have any suggestions for the next refresh video, and we'll take those into consideration. Alright guys, thank you so much for the support. Until I see you all in the next video, have a great day.